Delicious meets nutritious in the snack that packs a real protein punch. Wonderful Pistachios. Each 1-ounce serving of Wonderful Pistachios has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value and making Wonderful Pistachios one of the highest protein nuts. But perhaps more than that, I love all of the flavors they have. Their sea salt and vinegar ones are my favorite when I'm craving that flavor but want to keep it healthy. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Wonderful Pistachios come in a variety of flavors, like chili roasted, honey roasted, smoky barbecue, and jalapeno lime, perfect for enjoying with family and friends or taking them with you on the go. Whether you're a pistachio purist who loves cracking open every nut, or you prefer the convenience of no-shells pistachios, Wonderful Pistachios has got you covered. Grab Wonderful Pistachios and elevate your snacking game today. So fill up with a healthy snack when hunger strikes. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. That's wonderfulpistachios.com.
Mom deserves the best, and there's no better place to shop for Mother's Day than Whole Foods Market. They're your destination for unbeatable savings, from premium gifts to show-stopping flowers and irresistible desserts. Start by saving 33% with Prime on all body care and candles. Then get a 15-stem bunch of tulips for just $9.99 each with Prime. Round out Mom's menu with festive rosé, irresistible berry chantilly cake, and more special treats. Come celebrate Mother's Day at Whole Foods Market.
This is Optimal Health Daily, episode 2555. Hypertrophy, the formula for optimal muscle growth, by Emma Hogan of lesmills.com. And I'm Dr. Neil Malik, reading you some of the most popular health and fitness blogs out there, with permission from the websites, of course, and always with a bit of my commentary at the end. I'm going to keep this intro nice and short, so let's get right to the post as we optimize your life. Hypertrophy, the formula for optimal muscle growth, by Emma Hogan of lesmills.com. Growing muscle is a critical part of any exercise routine. Having the optimal amount of muscle makes us stronger and more powerful. When we build muscle, it allows us to protect our joints, be more active, and even helps us control weight gain by absorbing more calories at rest. The types of muscle growth. There are many different ways to grow muscle. At one end of the scale, there is high repetition, lower weight resistance training, a winning formula for boosting strength, fitness, and metabolism. And at the other end of the scale is pure strength building, which uses hypertrophy to spark significant muscle growth. What makes hypertrophy different from traditional strength training? Hypertrophy is what occurs when the rate of protein synthesis within the muscle is greater than the rate of decay. It's the result of either metabolic stress or muscular tension. Metabolic stress is born from exercising at intensity. At high intensity, we are unable to use our oxygen pathways to deliver the energy required for a set of exercises, so we turn to our anaerobic pathways, which produce metabolites. These metabolites, like lactate, hydrogen ions, inorganic phosphate, and creatine, release muscle-building hormones such as growth hormone and testosterone. Muscular tension is when resistance training creates localized damage to muscle tissue. This myotrauma sparks an acute inflammatory response to stimulate repair. This repair process can increase the number of myofibrils and make muscles larger. How long does it take for hypertrophy to begin? Traditional thinking is that the optimal hypertrophy response comes from doing 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 12 repetitions with 60 to 90 seconds of rest between sets. However, research is starting to question this. One study split male participants experienced in resistance training into 2 groups: low-load resistance training at 25 to 35 reps and high-load resistance training, 8 to 12 reps. They trained 3 times a week on non-consecutive days, working all the major muscle groups with 3 sets of 7 different exercises. After 8 weeks, both groups experienced significant hypertrophy in the biceps, triceps, and quadriceps, with no significant difference noted between the groups. With this in mind, a mix of repetition ranges with phases of heavier loads, followed by phases of lighter loads, may help maintain training variety and assist in the periodization of exercises. Does hypertrophy only happen when you lift heavy weights? Many consider performing a set of exercises to the point of failure as ideal for optimizing muscle growth. This is because as muscles approach the point of failure, extra motor units are recruited, which provides an additional stimulus for the hypertrophy of more fibers. But this theory is also being called into question. Studies show you can still see a hypertrophic effect with a degree of fatigue, not complete failure. This again indicates that a mixed approach may be best. It may also help avoid burnout problems related to consistent training at high intensity. How heavy do weights need to be? When you talk about the amount of weight you lift, it's called load. Load is most commonly measured as a percentage of your one repetition maximum, the maximum amount of weight you can lift for one repetition. These are three basic ranges. Low repetition, between 1 and 5 reps, at 85 to 100% of your one repetition maximum. Moderate, between 6 and 12 repetitions, at 65 to 80% of your one repetition maximum. And high repetition, 15 or more reps at less than 65% of your one repetition maximum. Each of these ranges involves different energy systems and affects the neuromuscular system in different ways, impacting the extent of the hypertrophic response. What are the best exercises for hypertrophy? Multi-joint, free weight exercises like squats are always a winner as they recruit more muscles and have been shown to create a larger response of anabolic hormones, such as growth hormone and testosterone. A squat can recruit a whopping 200 muscles, so it creates a metabolic demand much greater than with a single joint leg extension. Single joint exercises can also be valuable. These exercises, such as bicep curls, can be useful to focus on underdeveloped areas which may be dominated by other muscles in multi-joint exercises. Optimal muscle growth relies on exercise variety, according to Bryce Hastings, Les Mills' head of research. Quote, "A mix of multiplanar and multi-angled exercises will ensure maximal stimulation of muscle fibers." End quote. He adds that varying the angle of pull generates different activation patterns and varied input from muscle synergists, which is important for uniformed muscle growth. A common misconception is that hypertrophy training is the domain of blokes and bodybuilders. It's not. The power of hypertrophy is relevant for all exercisers. A meta-analysis published in 2020 compared the effects of resistance training on males and females and found that both groups had a similar capacity for hypertrophy and improvements in strength. What type of weights to use for hypertrophy training? Les Mills equipment has been uniquely designed for progressive weight training. The versatile weight system has been engineered to help increase muscle activation and enables fast and smooth transitions so you can effectively build your strength. Workout plans to maximize hypertrophy. Splitting your training and doing legs one day followed by upper body the next can be a good thing since it makes it easier to do multiple sets. It also allows for longer rest periods and more time for the anabolic response. As a result, your muscles can be fresher, which would help you lift heavier loads and create more mechanical tension. Hastings explains, quote, "Targeting specific muscle groups can definitely be more potent, but for most people, a total body workout is the most time-efficient form of training." End quote. Rather than focusing on different muscle groups, experts recommend maximizing the hypertrophy response by focusing on different phases. This means, after a phase of moderate training, shifting to an overreaching phase where you increase metabolic demands and muscular tension to reach myofailure and maximize the muscular response. This is followed by a taper phase of lighter weights, which allows the muscle units to recover and synthesize the new myofibrils. You just listened to the post titled Hypertrophy, the Formula for Optimal Muscle Growth by Emma Hogan of lesmills.com, and I'll be right back with my commentary. When you're hiring, it feels amazing to finally close out a job search. But what if you could get rid of the search and just match? You can with Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it filters out incompatible applicants. So when you're hiring, the process is much faster and you only have to consider applicants that are already likely to be a great fit. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/health. Just go to Indeed.com/health right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/health. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds, and I'm here with Keith, co-star of my upcoming film, If, only in theaters May 17th. Do you want to tell people the big news? All right, I'll do it. Sign up now and you'll get unlimited for $15 a month and 6 months of Paramount Plus Essential Plan on us. MintMobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 equivalent to $15 per month. Unlimited over 40 gigabytes per month. Face lower speeds. Videos at 480p. Active Mint customers by 531.24 get 6 months of Paramount Plus Essential Plan. Auto renews after 6 months. Offer ends May 31st, 2024. Separate Paramount Plus registration required. Terms and conditions apply if rated PG.
Dr. Neal here for my commentary. Now, if the idea of muscle hypertrophy, or basically training your body so that your muscles get bigger, scares you a bit, please don't let it. In my experience, clients will tell me that they're afraid to get into resistance training because they don't want to get too big and look like a bodybuilder. I've ranted about this before. It takes a lot of work and dedication to get quote unquote too muscular. This is not something that happens to the average person that's just working out to improve their fitness. But let's entertain this fantasy for a second. Let's say we did live in an alternate reality where the average person that performs resistance training twice a week was able to look like a bodybuilder with just this level of training. We'd probably end up with a lot more people walking around at the grocery store or at the beach or at work looking extremely muscular. Everybody would be looking like a bodybuilder. Or let's try this. Let's get back to the real world and walk up to someone that looks like they're in great shape with large, defined muscles. As you walk up to them, say to them, "Hey, I could look like you, and I bet it wouldn't take much time either. You do what, like 2 days of strength training a week?" See how that conversation goes. So that's not the reality. Instead, if we use the suggestions that today's author Emma mentioned in today's article, please know it will not lead you to getting too big or too muscular. Instead, these suggestions will help you live better, plain and simple. All right, that'll do it for today. I'll be back here tomorrow for our usual Friday Q&A, so stay tuned for that, where your optimal life awaits.